What is up, YouTube?
Hi.
Giving honor to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first and foremost.
Always.
My name is Marcus.
I'm Christian.
And this is Marriage for Dummies
Reacts.
And today we got a request from Andrew Englehart. Go ahead and it's going to be Rough Seas Rescue off the coast of Miami, the Coast Guard, Florida.
Wow.
All right, go ahead and like, subscribe, and we love you.
This is about to be entertaining.
I have to give the medal for having the most interesting.
Yeah, that's real.
Like something that I would watch. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying?
High winds off Key West threaten the rescue
real.
efforts of the Coast Guard.
Disgusting pretty bad, sir.
Should we talk throughout it or maybe pause it
We'll
sometimes?
pause it when we got something to say. Yeah.
Sounds good.
While in Clearwater, a rescue swimmer battles thunderstorms to aid a sinking vessel.
We're going into the water.
And deep in the Caribbean, the air crew races to a cruise ship to medevac a stroke victim.
When the Coast Guard arrived, at that moment, all of my prayers was answered.
The Florida Peninsula, a hotbed for Mother Nature's fury. Here, every day, the brave men and women of the Coast Guard's busiest boat and air stations vigilantly patrol nearly 2 million square miles of turbulent waters, protecting the public from the dangerous elements and preventing foreign threats and illegal drugs from reaching our shores. America's southern waters are protected by Coast Guard Florida.
All right.
This looks like a... This is fun.
Before somebody else drop off, I wanted to let you know if you wanted us to react to a particular piece of content or song, our best way to get us to do it is go into our description. We got Cash App, Venmo, PayPal links. Click on one of those to send a donation from the name of the song or the content you want us to react to. And we'll hop right on it.
Yeah. God bless y'all.
Hey, Coast Guard. Coast Guard, you out there? Mayday, mayday.
Vessel handling Coast Guard, this is Coast Guard Channel 16, go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, we got a guy down. He's hurt real bad. He got banged up, his neck, and he's real stiff.
Roger, Captain. Is the person conscious at this time, over?
Yeah, he's conscious, but he ain't talking much.
Roger, Captain. Pom-pom, pom-pom, pom-pom. All stations, all stations, all stations. Coast Guard received a report of an injured person on board a 90-foot trimp trawler in last known position, 2435 north, 08230 west.
We received a call of a gentleman on a shrimp boat who was injured about 150 miles away from Key West. His prop had gotten jammed by the shrimp nets, and he went down there, and as he was freeing it, the boat had hit a wave, and the entire weight of the boat had come down and landed on him. I knew the situation was serious and that we needed to get him to the hospital as soon as possible.
6607 on CG-111, over.
3607, sector, over.
We don't have much information as far as this medevac is concerned. Can you please give us any amplifying or new information?
The patient is having tingling in his right side and extreme pain.
35 minutes, okay.
I'm Lieutenant Howard Baker, Air Station Miami. We don't know a whole lot, but we know his back's hurt, and he's on a stretcher as of right now, and he's in a lot of pain.
Sector Key West, can you please pass the frequency where you are talking to this fishing vessel?
Roger, we are speaking to them on 22 Alpha, over.
We are going to try to hail them on the radio.
A lot of conversation on the way down. This is Jose Rivera's first live hoist, and we're just trying to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible. You absolutely never want to do anything to make the situation worse.
Fishing vessel, this is Coast Guard Hilo 6607 on 22 Alpha, over.
I don't think they can hear us.
This is my first medevac. My adrenaline is pumping. You know, I'm a little nervous, but you're not thinking about much. You're just reacting to everything and on your training, relying on your training.
Might be able to reach the Talon on 111. Yeah.
Talon 02, this is 6607.
6607, Roger, I have you loud and clear.
There was a Coast Guard small boat in the area that got on scene before us and dropped 2 guys on the boat to stabilize the patient. They were EMT qualified, they had him bandaged up, they briefed me what had happened to him. They couldn't transfer him due to the nature of his injuries and the type of vessel he was on. So the only way off the boat for him was our helicopter.
This is going to be them right here. I see the time on the boat.
Yep, there is your door speed.
Cool, I'm already getting the cabin already back here. Boarding sheet from Coast Guard Helicopter 6607.
6607, roger.
The plan right now is we'll take a look at how much the boat's moving. We'll definitely be lowering our rescue somewhere first.
Roger, I copy on all. Just let me know if I can help in any way, getting the swimmer on board or moving anything around on deck, over.
When we first arrive on scene, the obvious big hazard to us is all the rigging on the vessel. They have lots of outriggers, tall mast standing about 75 feet above the water, and the freeboard on the side of the vessel is about 20 feet as well, which kind of took out the chance of a transfer to a smaller vessel. Also, there's lots of hazards all over the deck.
Coast Guard 6607, supporting team. The only feasible hoist location is going to be on top of the pilot house.
Have the antennas been removed from the pilot house?
Yeah, we're going to go offline briefly. We're going to transport the victim up to the pilot house deck, over.
Could you guys hold off on putting him up to the pilot house so we get our rescue swimmer on board? We just don't want him to be in the way while we're trying to drop our rescue swimmer down there.
6607, copy on that.
Because this vessel was filled with different snag hazards and a high mast, we had to obviously position the hoist a lot higher than normal at about 100 feet, which gave us about a 4-foot by 3-foot hoisting platform. And that was in the very forward part of the boat, leaving all the rigging behind us.
Wow. Fishing vessel, this is Coast Guard Helo 6607.
You're kind of scratchy, but I can hear you a little bit.
Roger, is the person to be medevac conscious, or is he in and out? How does he feel as far as being awake or not?
The captain's laying down. He can't move at all. He can't even get up. Neck's hurting real bad. It's getting worse by the minute.
Roger. Swimmer's ready?
When I'm coming to the door, I am looking down at the boat, just getting prepared. It was a very difficult hoist because we had a very small place that he could put me down. What I wanted to do was to get him to a higher level of care as fast as I can.
Coast Guard 6607, supporting team. His lips are starting to turn a bluish color. We covered him with blankets in the preferred position for a shock victim, over.
Roger. Swimmer's going down.
And what's going in the game?
Pretty windy out there. Yeah, it's gusty.
It's very windy, very windy. And the helicopter is not that safe. You know, it is, anything could happen, a wind or whatnot, and the swimmer is actually trailing aft. At this point in time, obviously the boat is not directly underneath us. The boat is actually to the right and behind us because of the wind.
I'm straining just to see the boat at all. You're clear the antenna, sir. You're good with the antenna. Sir, you might want to get a little forward.
For something like this, he's in a lot of danger in between the helicopter and the boat. So as we're putting him down, I mean, there's wires, there's nets, there's all kinds of stuff. The vessel's constantly moving. They're trying to maintain a heading, but because of the waves, they're going to slow down as they go up swell. They're going to speed up as they go down swell. And I was basically relying completely on Jose Rivera to con me around, tell me where the boat was in relation to us, and tell me what he needed me to do. And we got Chuck safely on deck, and then we brought the hook up, and then we sent the litter down, which went much smoother.
6607 from the boarding. We're going offline briefly to prepare the patient for hoist, over.
Roger.
When I get onto the deck of the vessel, the first thing I do is I assess the situation and the person. He was awake and talking, which is always a good thing, but he couldn't feel his legs. He was telling me he couldn't feel his legs, and as soon as someone says that they can't feel their legs, it's a red flag. You immediately know that this is a serious situation. And my immediate decision with his condition was to what we call load and go. I was gonna pack him up, get him on the helicopter as soon as I can, and get him to emergency care.
All right, they got him up on the pilot house. Okay, you guys ready for pickup, Jose?
Yep. Once you have a patient into the litter and he's ready to be hoisted, the biggest worry is high winds and a lot of rotation when he's going up, the spinning.
This is some quick thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
Easy forward and right.
You don't want to bang them around. You don't want to move them around. The more they move around, the bigger chance it is for them to be injured. So what I tried to do was just hold the line as tight as possible to keep them to spin as little as possible.
All right, I'm coming left so I can see the boat. Roger. Oh, they let go of the trail line.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't expecting them to let go of the trail line.
The hoist was high enough that I ran out of trail line before it got to the helicopter. So once he made it past and the trail line come out of my hands, it was all up to Jose to keep him from smashing into the helicopter.
Oh my God.
Gusted pretty bad, sir. Just take your time with it.
That's nerve-wracking. This is why they do it, and I don't wow.
I was like, yo, I'm a man, but then I look and it didn't do that,
stress.
and I be like, I don't know, man.
I'm a weenie.
And that's coming from my wife.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's crazy though. Wow. Because you have to be strong minded and strong. Like what? That's wild. Yeah. That's crazy.
We'll probably cut this video into clip, so we'll get to a particular place after each incident that they're doing.
Okay.
And we'll chop it and then upload it that way.
Okay.
Pretty windy out there.
Yeah, it's gusty.
We received a call of a gentleman on a shrimp boat who was injured. I knew the situation was serious and that we needed to get him to the hospital as soon as possible.
As I'm bringing him up, all I'm thinking is this guy's life is in my hands, you know. I could bring him up and hit him underneath the cabin. So it's a very tight spot when you bring him up. You got to make sure you handle that litter right so he won't hit anything on the way up or the boat itself.
Has him at the cabin door right now, sir.
Moving him in really slow.
They got him.
I have him inside, sir.
As I was watching the patient being pulled into the helicopter, I started getting myself ready, getting prepared to be hoisted up and to start to treat the patient aboard the helicopter on the way to the hospital.
Swimmers inside the cabin. Search complete.
As we pull the survivor into the helicopter, I actually initially think Jose is yelling at the guy and trying to keep him calm, but I actually look back and realize it's the survivor screaming, and he screams the entire way. Apparently the whole right side of his body is just in immense pain. Chuck's a man a few words. He basically says, I'm worried about this guy. And that's enough to tell me that we need to get to the hospital as quickly as possible. We even called Fort Lauderdale International and said, hey, we can't delay, we got to go straight to the hospital pad.
All right, Chuck, we got 8 minutes to go.
With the possibility of a spinal cord injury, when we deliver the patient to the hospital, we're trying to ensure the smoothest transfer from the helicopter to the hospital, and that starts at the landing.
Hospital's right up here. Got the pad in sight?
Wow, the landing matters for a spinal injury.
I'm going to open up the door, sir, just so I could call you in.
Is that sensitive? Oh,
You absolutely never want to do anything to make the situation worse. We don't want to land too hard. When we land at a pad, we lock our nose wheel and we set our parking brake. So sometimes those landings can be a little jerky. So I'm really concerned about the landing, and Zach does a great job. He puts it down real nice and smooth. And then I'm very concerned about carrying the guy in as well.
Ease forward. Ease forward.
Great approach, looks good.
And we carry the guy into the ER screaming the whole way. And then once we get into the ER, the screams kind of get everybody's attention. They get a gurney for us, and we put him on the gurney, and then we're almost out of fuel, so we have to depart.
Good,
I'm glad I ate my Wheaties this morning.
I just want to cry thinking about him screaming, like, he's, you know?
Yeah.
After a case like this,
I'm glad
you
they
feel
didn't
good
play
afterwards.
that.
You do, especially when it goes well like this. When all the hoisting goes real smooth, and we get the guy to the hospital. You tell your wife and your parents, and everybody gets pumped for you. And you know, you're not trying to brag, but it is kind of cool. You feel like you really, you made a difference in somebody's life.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, I wonder if they'll give us enough. Okay, there's treated for his neck and back injuries and released. Wow. Continues to fish in the water. Oh, wow.
All right, okay, before the second one, we'll
cut it. Okay.
Yeah, so they give it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, God bless y'all.
Yeah.
We love you,
Yeah.
and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.